new to my channel, I just wanted to introduce myself as you have committed to following me on this journey on the Appalachian Trail. So, hi, I'm Kim. This is my second attempt at a through hike. Last year, 2018, I gave it a shot. I left on Friday the 13th of April. I don't know what in me thought that wasn't a bad omen. But I had a series of unfortunate events and ended up off the trail after 700 miles. And it took me 5 months to do that. I was off the trail for a month with an air cast on my foot, and I lost a tooth, and then I broke my wrist and pulled a ligament, and it was just, I was a hot mess. Here I am trying again, just 5 or 6 months later. So I'll be leaving on February 13th. My videos will be delayed probably a week or two, but I'm hoping that I'll record several leading up to that and then start posting regularly. I hope to post 2 a week, but in any case, I, a few weeks ago, posted a question or posted a video asking what you wanted me to cover in my videos. So I'm going to start plugging away with as many of those as I can. Some of the suggestions or requests are specific to the trail, so I'll film some of those while I'm out there. But in the meantime, there's a few questions that I wanted to answer before I take off. And one, I want to just read it to you. It says, one is asking how I'll use my 2018 experiences to reach Katahdin in 2019. What will I do differently to achieve my goal, and what do I plan to keep the same, or what will I change? Well, I think the biggest change for me, first off, I want to say I have no regrets. Even with all the things that happened to me, I so enjoyed it. I got such value out of my hike and the people I met and the fun I had. And even with all of the physical pain and turmoil, I grew. I grew and I learned, and I will take that with me. So that kind of leads me, the first thought when I thought about what will be different this time, I'm not going to lie this time. I was a liar last year. And actually, not just last year. I've been lying for years and years and years. I've been lying to myself. I've never been one for physical activity. I was not really introduced to sports. My family really weren't athletes. My parents, by no stretch of the imagination, were ever into any sports. So we didn't go to sporting events. We weren't biking or hiking or swimming or doing those things as a family. So I really wasn't exposed to sports as a kid. As a young adult, I went skiing and learned I could turn left really well, but couldn't turn right. And I ended up falling and getting hurt and saying, heck with this is stupid. You know, I'm not good enough for that. I'm not going to ski. I just spent most of the time on my butt. Just so many. I tried gymnastics as a kid, and you know, that wasn't any good. And I'd fall off my bike, or I'd be so afraid of getting hit by a car that I didn't like, and I still don't like riding bikes. I'm afraid of water. I actually have a true phobia of deep water. Oh gosh, I remember my cousin Margie, my dear cousin who lives in the White Mountains, and she is an avid winter hiker. She hikes any time of year, but she hikes in ice and snow in the White Mountains, which are some of the most challenging in this country. And forever, as long as I can remember, I would listen to her and her brothers talking about their hikes, and I would envy them that they were so brave or so coordinated or strong and that they could do that. Even in school, I honestly, I spent most of the gym classes, I'd spend most of the time in the bathroom hiding, you know, and I didn't want to be embarrassed trying to hit a target or catch a ball. It's just, I don't run fast, so it's that physical activity thing that for so long I just pushed away. I was like, you know what, those things are for other people. That's for like those people, whoever those people are. Certainly not me. I'm not going to be on the track team. I'm not going to play soccer or anything. I always enjoyed walks in the woods, but anything outside of that really wasn't my thing. When I was about 10 years old, a friend of my father's daughter hiked the Appalachian Trail. I think she just section hiked. She may have done the whole thing, but I don't think so. I wasn't really paying much attention. She gathered a group, and the old slide projector she had, the big screen pulled out, and she was, putting the slides in. And she was showing pictures of the trail and telling stories. And I was too young to really pay attention to the whole thing of what she was saying. I just remember, but I was looking up and watching, and I was drawn in by the beauty. I don't know if she was just an amazing photographer or her pictures were just standard fare and the scenery is just so epic, which I know to be true. So I didn't really pay attention if she thru hiked or not. But I remember thinking that that was such a dream or a vision that was so far away and so foreign to me that that's not anything I would ever do. And it also looked scary, like hike in the woods, and sleep in a tent on the ground. So I brushed it off, like that's never anything I could possibly do. And if you're getting a feel for what I'm saying, anything that requires physical coordination or strength or any physical talent at all, I pushed away. I'm like, that's not for me. I'm not going to do it. I've got my own thing, which was nothing that had to do with physical activity. So I don't know what happened that just clicked. This light bulb went off a year and a half ago or so when I moved here to Tennessee, and just started looking around for places to, it honestly did start as like a walk in the woods. And then I just wanted to go further and further, and I just ended up climbing the hills here, not mountains. And the thought of the Appalachian Trail started forming again. And again, brushed it away. Nope, that's not something for me. And then I just jumped. I just held my nose in. I jumped and I said, I am going to hike the whole damn thing. I'm going to do it. There is nothing about me leading up to that point that would ever indicate that me, Kim, would attempt, never mind succeed, in a 2,200 mile walk. I was ridiculous. It was crazy. I couldn't believe I was even thinking it, but there I was, getting my gear and going hiking on the weekends and climbing up and down the bleachers at the local high school. And before I know it, I was on the Appalachian Trail last April. And I was so proud of myself and feeling so empowered that I can do this. This is incredible. I shouldn't have down talked myself for all these years. And in week 1, I got injured. And I hobbled up the mountains and I limped down the descent from Blue Mountain in tears. I quit halfway up the 7-mile ascent out of the NOC. I absolutely lost it, broke down crying, and started lying. I started lying to myself again. I can't do this. Who do I think I am? This is stupid. I'm an imposter. I don't belong here. This kind of thing is for other people, people who are stronger and wiser and talented or gifted or coordinated or whatever it is that I thought it takes to do anything that required breaking a sweat. And the lies began, and I started to beat myself up. I quit every day last year, and it was always halfway up a mountain, so I really couldn't quit. I had to keep going, because what else was I going to do? But yeah, I got into my own head, and I think that was the beginning of the end. Yes, I had the physical injuries that ultimately forced me off the trail, but I think I could have gone farther had I been gentler with myself and not lied. So that is the biggest thing I think that I'm going to do this year, is just be truthful with myself and honor myself, and that includes what my limitations are. My goal is absolutely to get to Maine, and now I really know that I can do it, unless there's a family emergency or, yes, I get another injury that prevents me from doing that. I don't want to be stupid and cause a permanent injury. So that's the biggest thing, that I hope that I'm able to set my mind correctly in a more optimistic way. I hope I can embrace the suck better than I did last year. It's going to be rainy. It's going to be snowing. I'm leaving February 13th. It's going to be freaking cold. I can't believe I'm doing that. And I'm not going to like it. And it's really going to stink. And I'm going to want to quit. And that's going to be very interesting to watch unfold for myself, is how am I going to push myself to get up and hike again when it's, 12 degrees out, or with a wind chill, it's, minus 40 or whatever. So when I got home in September, I journaled. I started writing my thoughts, and it really helped me to wrap my head around what I was feeling. And as the months went on and the holidays approached, and I really started to think, I might be able to do this again. Actually, with family circumstances, it turns out it's actually the best thing I can do right now, for myself and for my family, is to try this again. And as that started forming, I really started to listen to my heart. And I want to read to you something that I wrote back in September, in my journal. So I'm reading from my diary to you. I really want to ask you, I'm actually going to rely on you to hold me to this, to hold me accountable to this. This is what I wrote before I actually committed to trying again. And I knew some of the things that I sabotaged myself. I knew some of the things that hurt me in my trying to push and trying to keep up with another hiker or whatever. So I really want to be true to the expression, hike your own hike. I really need to hike my own hike. I'm going to be starting with another hiker, and hopefully meeting up with another one within a few days. And I so want the company of others more than you know, as I was quite lonely out there. Even though I began to embrace my being alone, in reality, I would like to have at least one or two other people around me just to touch base with throughout the day. But I want to share this, and I really need to keep this in mind as I go. I'm going to rely on myself, but I will reach out and ask you who are watching to hold me accountable. If you start seeing me get into my own head, if you see or you notice or suspect that I'm lying to myself again, call me out on it and remind me what I'm made of and that I can do this. So these are the conditions that I have for myself for trying again. I need to hike my own hike. Listen to my intuition, right? Because I don't know about you, but when your gut tells you something, go with it. To consider my comfort levels regarding wake time, what time I want to wake up in the morning, 0 days for rest and recovery, my pace, my daily miles, my comfort in weather conditions, and so forth. So I don't want to wake up when somebody else thinks that we should wake up. If I end up hiking with somebody who likes to sleep in and doesn't want to hit the trail till 9 or 10 in the morning, but I want to get up and go at 7, then I should get up and go at 7. And conversely, if I want to sleep in, maybe I'm exhausted and it's cold and I'm nice and warm in my sleeping bag and I just feel like being lazy on any given morning, I don't want to force myself day after day to follow somebody else's itinerary. I don't think that's going to be healthy for me. So I need to consider my comfort levels with what time I wake up, how many 0 days that I want to take. Maybe I just really enjoy a town and want to stick around for 2 days. What's the problem with that? As long as I don't do it all the time. And if I just feel like I have to rest, I don't have to be injured. And I felt that last year, like, oh, I'm a loser for taking another day off. Well, I had never done anything like that before, so why wouldn't I take more rest days? It was a new experience to me. And it may not be new for me right now, but I need to listen to my body, and sometimes my body will be fine, and I just need a mental day. And by golly, I'm going to take it. And I don't want to not take a rest day if I want to see a certain town, or maybe I want to sleep late and, maybe I want to watch Netflix all day one day at a motel. So what? That's my hike. And recovery. If that's what it's going to take for my morale or my physical recovery, I call the shots on how many 0 days I should take. My pace and my daily miles. Again, I need to push myself. I know that much more than last year, but now I know that I do have the ability. But that has to be my call. I don't want somebody else saying, we're going to do 15 miles today, and I'm done at mile 12, and I'm forcing myself to hike those last few miles of the day and risking injury. So I really need to be careful not to do that. And my comfort in weather conditions. If there's a blizzard and somebody else wants to go out and try hiking and I don't, then I'm not going to go. Hold me to that, okay? And I also made notes about doing my best. And this is really important. Oh, I'm going to cry. If you're new to this channel, I cry a lot, so I'm fine. So I'm going to read this actually word for word. Doing my best. It may take a bit of time to work up to this, as physical activities have always tripped me up. Be gentle and tender with myself at the start so that I can be strong in a short while. Taking frequent rest breaks at the beginning doesn't equal not doing my best. It equals self-care and knowing my limitations and honoring them while still holding a goal of getting stronger and pushing a bit more each day. My best is always good enough because it comes from within me, and I am always good enough. And that's what I wrote. And here I go again. Those are my goals. That's what I learned. Don't lie to myself. I can do this. And it has to be my hike. I've upgraded some gear. I'll do another video on that because it's completely different than this conversation. So really the only thing I would do differently is to trust myself more, give myself more credit. Don't lie to myself. I'm not going to lie. I can do this. Hiking the Appalachian Trail, climbing how many mountains? It's not just for those other people. I can do it. I am one of those people. So that's the biggest difference. And if I don't make it, it's not because I didn't do my best. So hold me accountable. And that's what I have to say about that. And I will cover the gear question in another video.